My name is Brittany Collins, and I am so excited to be joining you all as a part of Kiwanis Amplify. I serve as one of your content experts within the event planning area, and within my session today, I'm going to be talking about partnership development strategies, ways to develop more effective and impactful partnerships for your events. I have more than 7 years of experience within the higher education and public affairs space. And within that, it has involved a whole host of collaborations and different activities as far as event planning and coordination, PR and communications, outreach, collaborative grants, and so much more. But some things that I've learned early on in my career were really to tap into my strength as a maximizer to truly make the most of the resources and the connections that I have available to me in order to make the various events, programs, and initiatives that I've been a part of as successful as possible. So I'm going to be going over a few key elements today that have definitely been my secret sauce in order to create new and dynamic partnerships, and I hope that they help you as you move forward in your event planning for 2021 and beyond. First up is research. I cannot stress how essential it is to research your target audience and really try and dig in and get as thorough of an understanding as possible, because it's not only going to help the creation of your event and that planning as you move through it, but it's also going to guide you into navigating who are going to be the appropriate folks to bring to the table as your partners in this endeavor. Let's talk demographics. So with your target audience, you need to be able to answer these different categories and more as specifically as possible. Not only is it going to help you with the creation of your event and how to more effectively market it, but based on the different subsections within these categories that you identify, there's going to be partners that may align with those groups as well. And there's some overlap in audience that you're going to want to leverage in, again, pulling more people to be on board and being a part of your event. Now, you may have it more open. Maybe you just want to do a event for youth in your community. That's fine. But you still should have an idea of what is the makeup of this in your community. So not that you're using it to keep folks out, but you have a better idea and understanding of who's around. And so you can tailor your messaging and partnerships accordingly. Now you've done your research and you've created that profile of your ideal target audience. You've checked off these different things to get a read on what they might be for your particular event. And you're all done, right? Not quite. So after you go through your different demographic pieces, you can take that a step further to really get a better insight on maybe some of the attitudes or motivations of your target audience. So some other things that you can think of as you're building out that profile: pain points. What is it that your target audience members are struggling with at this point in time that hopefully your event can provide a solution for? Similar to that, what are your target audience's needs right now? It can vary, especially in the things that we're going through right now. Maybe you have folks in your community that feel disengaged or disconnected, and your event is an opportunity to meet that need by drawing them in and getting them connected with other folks or other activities in their community. On top of these, they don't necessarily have to be negative. So if you can get a good understanding of what excites your target audience, what's trending for them right now, what are they really into, that you can hopefully build your event around and pull in some of those different elements into that experience that, again, keep the excitement going and really gets a good reaction from them in not only the marketing of your event, but them participating in it as well. After you go through these, there are two other really key pieces that are going to help in leveraging the partnership stage that you should know about your audience early on. So, who does your audience trust? So what is their go-to source as far as information? We talked a little bit as far as the social media realm, but this could also take place within the physical realm as well. So is it faith-based leaders that encourage them to do different things or be involved with different initiatives? Could it be community bulletin boards where they can go and get information on things to do, things to see? Could it be a specific individual that has a lot of notoriety within your target population that you want to reach that can help with sharing your message out about your event for folks to participate? really get a good idea of who this is, and especially if you can find partners that already have this built into your target audience, it's going to help you so much moving forward. Another piece to understand is, how does your target audience like to consume information? Where do they go? So again, maybe it's not in person, maybe it's not a physical person, but is it social media? Is it the newspaper? Is it email newsletters or their Nextdoor app? Get an idea of where they like to go to find out about new things, or again, the things that they need, or again, have pain points, or gets them really excited, and being as narrow as possible. So try not to just throw things out there or just make broad assumptions on how they consume, but if you have the opportunity, do some research a little bit more deeply, ask some folks in the target audience directly so that you can keep pace. So for instance, a lot of folks are on Facebook, millions, I believe there's over billions of folks on Facebook now, but if you're trying to reach the target audience of 18 to 24, yeah, they're there, but also a huge lion's share of them are also on Instagram and Snapchat, and that might be a better way to reach them for your particular event. But you got to do the research on this in order to know. So how do you go about finding out some of these pieces? Take advantage of polls and surveys, whether you do them virtually or you're able to send some things out, or maybe gather together some folks for a focus group. That's going to be helpful as you plan your event, especially if it's large scale. You may not always have that ability if you're doing something maybe, a little bit smaller, like a service activity that's happening maybe a month or two out, things like that. But if you can ask, again, one or two people that you're hoping to be a part of that experience, that's going to be better than just assuming that they're going to take away what you think they will from that event. So let's talk a real life example. So say you're wanting to put on a membership drive type of social event, and you really want to engage more young professionals in your community to be involved. Maybe you don't have an Instagram, maybe your organization doesn't have a Snapchat, maybe you don't know how to work Instagram or Snapchat, that's okay. A potential partnership opportunity is figuring out if maybe there is a local Instagram account or a Snapchat account, what have you, that does already draw in a huge amount of young adults in your area, and see if they would do a promotion partnership where they're able to help push info out about your event. And again, that's hopefully in line with them providing more content to those people who are already tuned into their platform. Or again, you can work out how they can be a part of your event overall. Maybe they can help stream it to that audience for folks who aren't able to attend there on the spot. Maybe running some different ads, things like that. You never know. And it may be even a paid partnership in that sense, in helping you to promote the event that you have coming up to that group. So these pieces, again, are not just for the marketing, but how you can identify where you have some opportunity for partners. So you've researched your audience, but what about your organization itself? As you're putting on this event, and especially if you know you need to bring other partners on board, you need to have a strong understanding of what it is that you bring to the table and also what you lack. As you're researching and planning, consider these different areas. What do you have? What do you don't have? Do you have the time? Do you have the financial resources? Do you have the skill sets for this particular event? Access in a variety of different ways to make this event possible. The space, whether that be physical or digital, to host folks for this event. The people, as far as people power to put on this event. Connections to other folks or your target audience. Really start to tally those up so that you know what you are looking for in a strong partner. Here we have our activity. I call it Who's in Your Sandbox. So if you can think back to maybe it's a kid having the opportunity to go to the playground, play in the sandbox. There's folks in there doing all sorts of different things. Well, what would happen if you kind of brought some of those folks together to try and make something really big? And that's what I want to bring to life for you through this. So I have it split into 4 different categories. And what you're going to do is list organizations that fit in these different places to identify where you want to start first in pitching a partnership or collaboration for your event. So first, proximity. Who's nearby? So these could, again, be organizations, individuals who are right there next door or in your backyard that you can come together with. for the sake of you are neighbors and you serve neighbors in that particular community. The next area is values and priorities. So these may be organizations that they could be local, they could be national, they could be international, but the key thing is you care about the same things. There's mission alignment, there's values alignment. They're passionate about the same things that you are, and that makes them a potential partner. Next is audience and reach. So you've done your target audience research, you've tried to ask some more questions of them. Hopefully some organizations or individuals have emerged that already capture your audience well and are able to reach them in a strong way. Especially if you're really struggling with how to market or promote your event to your target audience, you want to make sure that you have those key organizations in mind. Last but not least, funds and resources. So are there donors or foundations in your area that have funds available? Maybe there's a business that has a fund for people that want to do events that are focused on different things. It doesn't just have to be financial. It could be that they have a group of volunteers that are available to assist for your events and help in capacity that way. But a key thing here, think about organizations and things that can add more tangible resources to what you're trying to do. You're going to go through on your sheet and just list organizations. So however many you can think of or that you can find online that match up with this pretty well. And that's where you're going to get started, especially with the area you're struggling with the most in making your event happen. Now there's something else that may come from this. You may find that there's an organization that fits into multiple areas. That's huge, and definitely an organization you want to reach early on because there's a strong value add from just that one group coming to the table and working with you on it. Now, don't neglect organizations that may only fit in one corner, because if you need help here, you could be interested in partnering, but definitely put a little extra energy in figuring out how you're going to secure a partner who can help your event be successful in multiple ways. Now, don't make this fully transactional. Again, we've assessed what are things that you bring to this. So keep in mind, and we'll talk about it in the pitch process of how you can show that there's going to be a mutual benefit. Okay, so now all of our research is complete. You've identified those organizations through the sandbox activity that you want to reach out to and really get this partnership rolling. Now it's time to make your pitch. So this is the creation of your first communication or letter to let these organizations or, again, individuals that you want to partner with know how you see the opportunity in working together. So first thing, brainstorm ideally what you want this to end up looking like. So have a clear picture on how all these different pieces fit together. Be able to communicate how them coming alongside you for this event is going to really allow you to do even more and even better in what you're trying to deliver to your target audience. The next piece to think about are getting clear on your limitations as an organization. Again, that may not be a piece that you put verbatim into the pitch letter itself, but something good to have in the back of your mind, especially as those organizations come back with questions or you all decide to mutually move forward with planning your event. So things to think about, like what are some potential barriers that are in place for your organization to do different things in making this event possible? Are there some pieces of bureaucracy or red tape that are going to hold you back in some ways that you can let that partner know on the front end? What's the capacity of your organization? So maybe you're a small club that's trying to do an endeavor and you don't have, 100 people to offer up for this. So being clear of this is our team, this is what we have to work with for this particular event. And that can include financial capacity as well, time capacity in this sense too, especially if it's an event that's more volunteer based than it is professional, just so that's clear and out in the open. And then lastly, understand what your non-negotiables are for this event as well. So are there pieces that this must be in place or we can't move forward, or if this happens, we can't be attached to it or a part of it? Again, however you can be clear on these things in the initial conversations of developing this are going to make things a lot smoother as you go through the process and the planning for your event. Another element in creating your pitch is to identify a person to direct this to. So I know we don't tend to love generic emails and things like that because we think they just kind of float out into the abyss. And so the same goes for this particular instance. So again, if it's an individual, that's of course easier. How can you find their contact information? But if it's an organization that you want to partner with, how can you find someone on the inside or is well connected to that organization that can help kind of hand deliver or champion this initial outreach throughout to really get the ball rolling? So maybe that's looking on LinkedIn to identify some folks who work within that particular organization, or even the organization's website, looking at their staff page and look for things like whoever's in charge of development or partnerships or engagement. Those are going to be the key folks or keywords to look for as far as titles on who you should probably direct this communication to get started. And then another bonus in that, in having an actual person that you're directing this to, it's great if they also have just a general personal interest in what you're trying to do, regardless of where they work. So that's normally going to mean that they're even more excited to partner with you and are excited to get their whole team or their whole organization on board to be a part of this endeavor.
I've included in the resources a handout that helps you create your own sample pitch letter. Really, it's a culmination of what we've discussed earlier in this video and putting it all together as a nice package for this potential partner.
Send your pitch letter. Now what? Hopefully that partner is enthused, they want to move forward, they want to set the meeting, and this will give you some tips on how to navigate things from there. Key thing, follow up on the meeting. So don't go through all this work and then just drop the ball at the first impression. Really move forward with meeting that organization or that person as soon as they're available to start those conversations. And the worst thing that you would want to do is kind of blow off this follow-up and then wait until the last minute when you really, really direly need them to make this event successful, because that's going to leave a bad taste in the organization's mouth all around. Another tip, set clear expectations for the partnership. So if you're dealing with something that maybe has a lot of complexity, a lot of moving parts, maybe some of the different things that are going to be shared between both groups, you might want some type of memorandum of agreement or memorandum of understanding to kind of outline things on paper so that it's clear and you have that baseline document that everyone can kind of refer back to navigate the partnership. If this is something a bit more informal, at the very least, have maybe an email between all parties with some outline bullets of who's expected to do what. So again, if anyone's ever confused, they can refer back to that and have that already understood. On that note of clarity, never assume. Maybe there's a particular piece or task of this that you thought the other partner was going to do, and you didn't look back into it and come to find out the event day is here and it didn't happen. Ask questions, because you never know. The partner may have had it confused and thought that you were going to do it. So be proactive in communicating and asking those questions throughout the entire process. Next, define how you all are going to maintain contact and share information as you go through the plan. What's the meeting schedule going to be to make this happen? Are you all maybe using a shared project management platform like ClickUp or a spreadsheet that folks can use to guide, again, the delegation of tasks and who's providing what resources, when, and again, if it's, again, even more informal, at least a group email or group text message that folks can always pop in and out of to, again, ask for what they need or ask for clarification, so on and so forth. And then another element that you do not want to forget in this process is make sure that you are expressing gratitude throughout and often, and of course at the event itself. So make sure that you're thanking your partners and your collaborators because they didn't have to do it. Again, hopefully they were excited to be a part of it, but you want to maintain that momentum by continuing to share that goodwill of thanks and appreciation to all those partners involved. And that's it. I hope that this information has been helpful to you and really makes you think about things moving forward as you plan events and bringing in more partners to those events in order to make them more impactful and successful. Feel free to get in touch with me if you have any questions, or maybe we can even collaborate together on some projects. I totally welcome that. But enjoy the rest of your sessions. And of course, thank you for participating in Kiwanis Amplify.